Shout out my boy Jay. As you could tell by my shirt, I just came from the gym, and on my way home, he was like, "Bro, why you ain't doing the Katt Williams interview?" And I said, "Look, I react to comedy, and every now and then we'll throw in some pop culture stuff, some that went on outside of the world of movies, music, stand up comedy." He was like, "Well, bro, talk about it." I said, "Look." This what's so crazy about this interview. This is probably one of the most iconic interviews in the history of media. Like, honestly, this is one of the greatest interviews to ever happen. And it's so crazy that so many people hating on Shannon Sharp because of his interview style. This was a prime example of ISO. If you know basketball, when somebody's cooking, when LeBron James, when Steph Curry, when Russell Westbrook, when any of the greats are on a run, like they just scoring, can't nobody guard them. It don't matter who in front of them. They just cooking, whoever, putting up 50, 60, 70 points. You give them the ball and you move out of the way. I can't believe people are like criticizing the way Shannon Sharp handled this interview. But look, it's a 3-hour interview. We're not about to watch the whole thing, obviously. I don't even think Shannon Sharp people would let us do that. But we're going to run through a couple of the moments. Look, you could literally click on any part of this video, and they were talking about something controversial or funny, or like, we could do this. We could literally go down the list. So I'm at the 2-minute mark. We're going to hear what they talking about. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's another great thing about this interview. They got straight to it. Katt ain't waste no time. He got straight to it. So let's see what they talking about in the 2-minute mark. Then we might go to the 20-minute, then 45. Then we'll do it like that. Let's see what he was talking about right here.
Like cognacs the world over, this one doesn't taste like wood at the end, and it doesn't taste like it's got artificial colors, and it doesn't taste like it's got artificial flavors. It's a fine product.
He's a connoisseur. You can tell he's a connoisseur. He's a cognac connoisseur. He understands the method that goes into making cognac.
Right. Well, as a comedian, played a woman in more movies than he's played a man.
What's this part?
Oh, he was gonna be money. Let Ricky Smiley sit here and you said out that mouth, you stole Friday after next, the one I was in. I wish all of America fumbled a bit when that happened. And then he said some stuff that we haven't heard in 100 years in Hollywood. You ain't say nothing. This man told you he had Katt Williams' role. He was gonna be Money Mike.
Wait.
And Katt Williams was gonna be the Santa Claus. Now let's 3 quick points. You mean in Hollywood they cast a 5'5" black Santa Claus that weigh 145 pounds? That's your story. Your story is the Ricky Smiley that couldn't.
All right. See, look, I'm actually going to try to do some pushback. While I agreed with 90% of what Katt said, it was some things he said, I was like, I don't know, Katt. So, to this point, absolutely. You would absolutely, like, I think Katt Williams is that versatile that he could have played the crackhead Santa Claus. I do believe that. And I do believe that might have been pitched, because I have heard that in Hollywood. I have heard that you go in for one audition and somebody say, look, I don't think this role is for you, but this other role right here, I'm going to give you the script. Come back tomorrow and audition for that. I think you'll be better for that. I have heard of that. So when Katt was saying this, I was like, well, maybe Ricky did do the pimp. Now, thank God he didn't. But I do believe Ricky might have audition for it. I do believe that.
And do curse words because he had a Christian fan base. He was gonna play the pimp. Why you didn't ask him why has he played a woman in more movies than he's played a man?
Well, I didn't know
he shouldn't be able. You wouldn't let a athlete that been on steroids talk about one of the greats. Ricky Smiley can't act because Ricky Smiley can't act. He told you the story about when the movie came out. Where did he say he watched it? At home. He wasn't even at the premiere. You telling this man, you stole that. Oh, so he could get his name in the same sentence with a great one. It is sad. He was just that bitter when we were shooting it. He told everybody, it should have been my role. Everybody on the scene. Why do you think no cast member has ever said anything?
He couldn't have played that role like you. I thought he was.
Sir, no one. Why no? He was with KD. He beat up Terry Crews. Why nobody know this story? You talking about in Hollywood? They switched off roles. You take this and he. What?
So
Ricky Smiley knows this, and I don't know why he would lose a child and come on the air and start lying. That's why people believe in rituals right there. It's because, well, why would he lie? I don't know why liars lie, but I can tell you this. We auditioned in Los Angeles.
Yes.
I was audition number 201. 200 black comedians auditioned for the role of Money Mike with me. You're saying all 201 of us was auditioning and you had already had the role and had already shot the role in 4 days? The truth of the matter is...
So this right here, right? I think Ricky didn't word it right. I think he wanted that role, and I don't know, maybe he had reason to think he had it. I don't know. I'm trying to shoot bail. I'm trying to be not politically correct. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate. I'm trying to shoot because, again, I believe everything, most of what Katt said, but I'm trying to give some pushback. Maybe Ricky thought he had it because somebody told him something, and then, they said, nah, you take this role and we'll give that. And then they saw Katt Williams audition, and he was like, oh no, Katt gotta have it. But we want Ricky in this, so you be the Santa Claus. Maybe that's what happened. We don't know. And why didn't anybody else say something about it? Again, I think that's a common. Again, I'm no actress or actor in Hollywood. I ain't in those back rooms. I don't know how production goes about casting, but I felt like I have heard that before. Like, you could be recasted at some point in production or during casting, and it's like, look, we liked your audition for this, but I think you would be more suited for this. I think I have heard that before.
Mike in the original script got raped in the bathroom, and that's what Ricky Smiley was okay with. Katt Williams had to take the risk in front of the studios and the cast and our powers that be in his very first movie and say respectfully, humbly, guys, if we're talking about anything else, I have no credibility and I have no pull. But we're talking about comedy.
Right.
Where I have all the credibility and all the pull. The problem with Friday After Next is we're trying to make a classic comedy. And this comedy involves a rape. And rape is never funny, no matter who it happens to or what the circumstances are. If you would allow me to allow us to do this movie without a black man getting raped in it, I promise you that it will be twice as funny as it would be with him getting raped. So considering that's the real story, why would you bring up that story? 35 members of the cast and crew have never brought up that Ricky Smiley was going to play Money Mike. No one ever saw me put on a Santa Claus suit. We got a wardrobe department. They made a Santa Claus suit for me. Why that wasn't in the bloopers? Why? And here's the other thing. Everything that Money Mike said, Katt Williams wrote. So what Ricky Smiley say on his? You can't say.
So I saw what Ice Cube said. He said he allows comedians to they said they got the script. On one take, they do the script, and then they'll do another 2 or 3 takes of the exact same scene, and he'll let the comedian ad-lib and throw their own little jokes in. So I'm assuming he's, and again, I'm trying to take everybody for their word. So I'm assuming he's saying if that story that Cube said was true, they took a lot of the for the takes with Money Mike. They took a lot of the takes that Katt ad-libbed or wrote himself instead of what was in the original script. That's what I'm assuming. But again, I'm just trying to be devil's advocate. But yo, this is one of the greatest interviews ever. I've watched this interview probably 2 times in full. It's a 2 hour and 46 minute interview. I have watched it from beginning to end twice. It is incredible.
My lines, I wrote them. That's how I already know that I'm going to be funnier than you. What he told everybody was, Katt Williams, don't nobody know who he is. I'm on the radio. I'm with Steve and Said. Everybody know me. That's what he told everybody that would listen to on the set. That's the truth of the matter. He was so egregious, not now, then. He was so egregious that, and Hollywood has never heard this in 100 years. He was so egregious, I put in my contract that I won't work with Ricky Smiley again unless he's in a dress. Now, what was Ricky Smiley's next movie? Was it First Sunday? Did he wear a dress in it? You bet he did. It's in my contract.
Why would you put that in your contract, Katt?
That's where he's a believable actor. Him and Tyler Perry can't play a man to save their life.
All right, this right here. All right. Now, look, again, everything I'm telling y'all in regards to, like, stories that I've heard about Hollywood, I've read in books, articles, whatever. I have heard people have had crazy things in their contract pertaining to who they're willing to work with, who they're not willing to work with, what they will allow certain people to do. I have heard of that before. And I'm talking about the elites of Hollywood. Now, I'm assuming... I have a hard time believing this story because, well, I mean, Katt was, by the time First Sunday came around, Katt was already, he had already entered, like, legend status. Like, Katt was already, like, he was on top of the world. Kevin Hart, I'm speaking, wasn't even a thought of. The Kings of Comedy was gone. Steve was doing his thing. Cedric was doing, like, the comedy world was dominated by Katt Williams. I think that's 08, 09, First Sunday. So I wouldn't be surprised if that was true. But that's one of the craziest parts that I heard. Like, and the fact that it's believable is the scary part. Like, it's crazy.
They're good women, and I believe that the best actor should be in the best role.
So that's why, because when we released that clip and he said that, you responded because he said he was supposed to play Money Mike and you were supposed to play Santa Claus.
An outright lie.
So
that he knows is a lie.
So why would he say it?
Because he's a liar. Nobody knows why liars lie. And that's why I had to come on the program. Cedric did the same thing. Cedric told you when you asked him, did you steal Katt Williams' joke? Yeah. He said, it don't line up. How it don't line up that I did it on TV in 2018? You came to see me at the Comedy Store do it in 2019 and then did it on the Kings of Comedy. Like, what doesn't line up? This is a televised joke that Mark Curry helped me punch up and get to the level that it was. The same Steve that went to go watch Mark Curry do his whole sitcom and then stole everything Mark Curry had. Now Steve got a sitcom where he the principal and he wear a suit and then he gets this high top fade, making all black men think he got the best lineup in the business. And it's a man unit.
Yo, I don't think this is the genius of Katt Williams, right? He's in that Dave Chappelle world with me. He's not even telling jokes. He's not telling jokes. Him, Dave Chappelle, Chris Rock, I would throw in there. They have like this natural, and again, maybe it's their voice, because all three of them, their voice is such an important part of their comedy. Like, and Katt is dead. This is a dead serious conversation, and I want to laugh so hard, but again, I've seen it 2 times, so it's like I can't fake the laughter like I did. Like I was dying laughing the first time. And of course I ain't gonna fake laugh. But like some of this stuff is still funny. But what was I about to say? I never watched the Mark Curry show that he's referencing, but I did see the clips. I did do my research and read the similarities between the Steve Harvey show and the... Hey. And shout out to Shannon Sharps. I don't know who it is in the back because Katt did say 2018 right there. And so the man, we'll see coming up, but the man back there said, yo, you said 2018, Kings of Comedy came out in 2000. Like, what you saying? So I'm happy they cleaned that up. You know what I mean?
Then you asked it, why you not a movie star? I didn't want to be a movie star. This the same Negro that hated on Bernie with this same thing. I didn't want to be a movie star. No, you couldn't be a movie star. There are 30,000 new scripts in Hollywood every year. Not one of them asks for a country bumpkin black dude that can't talk good over KB and look like Mr. Potato Head. There ain't none. You would have to have range. I played a lot of characters, 60 movie roles. I'm not playing Katt Williams in there.
I don't know, Katt. We might not let you drink anymore the way you. I mean, we ain't even got.
I'm not fueled by alcohol. I've had a sip, less than you. The truth don't need motivation. I'm just saying I can't let these dudes lie. Cedric sitting here telling you why he ain't a movie star. He over here look like a walrus. You didn't say nothing. He can't even get his arms off his stomach sitting over here. Why I'm not a movie star. What?
It's a situation.
He never wrote anything. Remember, when Cedric the Entertainer starts, he's supposed to be singing, dancing, and telling jokes. That's why he's called the Entertainer.
Right.
We found out he can't sing, can't dance, and doesn't write jokes. He did 4 comedy specials. They're so bad, Shannon, they're not available on Netflix or Tubi. Can I say that again for the audience? They're so bad that they're not available on Netflix or Tubi.
All right, devil's advocate. I love Cedric the Entertainer's set on Kings of Comedy. Now, did he write all of that stuff? I don't know. I did see the spaceship comparison between the Katt Williams joke and said, hey, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. But I love, and what's the, now I'll be honest, I haven't watched it in a long time. Cedric the Entertainer doesn't have a special that I go to a lot. Like, I go to American Hustle, and it's Pimpin', and you know what I'm saying? What's the one that was in D.C.? I forget the name, but I got a few Katt Williams specials that I watch probably once a year all the time. Same with Chappelle, same with, you know what I mean? Cedric doesn't have one of those. But the special he got with him in the orange shirt and in the vest, where he was talking about George Bush and everything, that was a good special. That was a really good special. But that's the only one I could think of. Cedric is funny, though. I'm not going to let Katt do that. Cedric is funny. Again, did he write everything? I don't know.
They say it's a good comedian?
The world doesn't think that, sir. I have 12 comedy specials. He has 4 specials that are not available on Netflix or Tubi.
It seems to me, Katt, that you had a lot to get off your chest.
No.
You wanted to set the record straight.
Winners are not allowed to allow losers to rewrite history. I don't say any of these things if my name is not breached by these people on your platform. If you give a liar a platform to lie, then I'm not being messy by saying, hold on, that never happened, it's untrue, and there are hundreds of witnesses for each thing I'm saying.
So let me ask you this. What is your relationship with Steve Harvey, Ricky Smiley, and Cedric the Entertainer as you sit here currently?
For 30 years, they're a group. These aren't 3 random guys. The way that Ricky Smiley kept appearing at all of my auditions is because of Steven said he would tell anybody that, listen, they got a gang on that side. They know what it is. They know who the gang is. Why Earthquake not in movies? Because he's illiterate. He can't read. And they found that out when they gave him a show and put the cards in front of him. Like, all of these dudes are co-entwined and they share secrets. And this is the age of truth. And the truth doesn't need to be scared of the fact that people tell lies. Katt's on drugs. Where are the stories? Why is there no story of anybody who ever sold a drug to me, did a drug with me, was around me when I was inebriated? I got 5 daughters. I got 5 sons. Why would we tell these ridiculous stories? Because it's competition. You feel like, well, why comedy guys can't just get along?
Yes.
Why didn't you get along with the other teams you were competing against? If you're a Denver Bronco, why you don't get along with the Cowboys? Something wrong with you?
But I don't disagree. I don't dislike all the Cowboys. Katt, damn, you like this?
No, that's not.
Okay, what comedians do you like?
Did you play against the team?
Yes.
I've taken 46 comedians with me on the road. 46.
Okay.
I'm not the comedian you can give that to. I only put on comedians that are funnier than me. Anybody that ever told you differently was a fat Faison liar. There's nobody like me in the business.
Faison just caught it straight.
Faison said
Shannon,
that.
listen, I don't care what y'all say. Shannon did a great job. He did a great job. Like, again, just that right there, those little instigating tactics, I think that was perfect. I think matching the energy of Katt and just naturally being a naturally funny person that Shannon Sharpe is, I think Shannon Sharpe did a phenomenal job. I do. To the point that he's making now, American Hustle, he had Lunel on there, he had Red Grant. I forgot the dark skinned lady's name. And she was in First Sunday. So I'm sure Katt had something to do with that. But she was in First Sunday too, the other lady. So we do know Katt is telling the truth about that. I've always heard that about Katt Williams, getting comedians, bringing them on tour with him. He goes on tour all the time, and he always has a good set of opening comedians. So I can vouch for that. I can vouch. That is provable. That is facts, stats, whatever you want to call it. That could be proven. And what he was saying about Ricky Smiley, Cedric the Entertainer, Steve Harvey, I think that's always kind of been well known that, like, Nephew Tommy, Steve Harvey's nephew, is on Ricky Smiley's show. Of course, Steve and Cedric have been like this since before the Steve Harvey show. So I kind of feel like everybody kind of knew that they were, homies,
Special is easy. I have 12 specials. Guess how many Faison got? 0.
So
why is he allowed to have conversations about real stand-up people? We do not let people who are on the juice discuss real athletes. That's all. As a journalist, that's all. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
I don't harbor any resentment to any of these entities because I can't be jealous. I've never seen them have anything that I ever wanted. If you sign up for their program, you get a light-skinned, weird-faced wife that never do an interview. Listen, in 20 years, won't do an interview. Nobody's ever talked to her, and she's never been interviewed anywhere. And now, understand, I'm not talking about one person. What I just told you applies to 7 people. How they all end up with that. That's part of what you get. I came in this business saying I was going to expose. When I talked about Michael Jackson, when I talked about R. Kelly, they canceled me for these things because why would you talk about another black...
Now, Katt, nobody canceled you. If anybody, that's one of the people's favorite parts of those stand-ups. I know he's talking about it's Pimpin', the green suit stand-up with the Michael Jackson joke. And I can't remember the R. Kelly, but I do... vaguely remember an R. Kelly joke. Ain't nobody cancel Katt. Come on, Katt. He juiced it a little bit right there. Ain't nobody cancel Katt Williams. Again, everybody thought those was probably the favorite, most memorable jokes from those stand-ups.
Dude, race is not where the line is drawn. It's God's side and the other side. And we don't care nothing about the other side. Period. All of these big dick deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is. TG Jakes, any of them. All lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way. The truth is the light.
I need to have another one of these.
Amen.
Shit.
Yo,
getting on there.
It's just funny, man. Mannerism.
After that, I don't really kind of know where to go. Let me one more time.
Right.
We good now?
Because the people want to know, why would he get blackballed?
Yeah,
because in 30 years I've done nothing but collect information, knowledge, and your secrets. So if you and a man was in a corner doing something you wasn't supposed to be doing,
you would tell it.
No, somebody come to tell me.
Okay.
I gather that. I value that. I'll pay for that. Come, tell me. I know so many things I shouldn't know, and they all know it. They all know it. Why? Because you don't make me the villain. Not the guy that raises black children and ain't never done a hard drug in his life and don't have no stories of doing nobody dirty. And they'll just go out and they'll lie. The industry doesn't mess with Katt because he didn't show up for the studio. No studios have ever said that. Look at my IMDb. It will show you that no studio has ever lost money with me on the script. How?
Now, I never looked into that, but I do remember Katt being in some movies that I know I didn't go see. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna have to look that up. But if y'all know in the comment section, has Katt been a part of a movie that flopped? Be honest. Be honest. I love Katt. Now, you know, just because you in a movie that flopped, that don't mean nothing. But I do feel like Katt been a part of something that flopped. I can't put my finger on it, but still a legend. Like, don't.
That's why I'm saying, that's why I can't let Ricky Smiley say he was supposed to play Money Mike. Because I wrote the words for Money Mike. I designed the hair for Money Mike. I collaborated with the wardrobe department and made outfits to make sure that no one in America would be wearing what Money Mike was wearing. I told them to go get the Prowler. I then told them to paint it purple. I told them don't have an actor at playing a pimp. We could get an actual pimp, Archbishop Magic Don Juan, to play. Like, I did far too much work for somebody to come years later and try to tag along just for their own self-aggrandizement.
Why didn't Cube set the record straight? Terry Crews could have set the record straight. Mike Epps could have set the record straight. Why none of them set the record straight?
That's what you were supposed to ask him when he told you those lies that no one's ever heard. Right, but he's telling you something no one's ever heard of. Nobody has ever heard, Ben Affleck and Matt Damon was in a movie and somebody said, y'all should switch roles. Like, this is a business.
But that's the thing, Katt. Normally when people will give you information, I'm thinking I'm hearing it for the first time and they're giving information no one else knows or have ever heard. So I'm taking them at face value.
These are like, this is like Steve Harvey telling people he used to be homeless. That's my story. That's not his story. Steve Harvey wasn't never homeless. When Mark Curry was touring with him 25 years ago, he was making $3,000 a show in cash and doing 5 shows a week. They just tell the stories. Thanks to my wife, I'm where I am. You said that about the first wife. You forget that? You told us it was her. Then you married somebody else that think like a man.
True. He definitely
like, what are you talking about? They think they can rewrite history.
Marjorie, I forgot who
Guy Torrey did a beautiful special about the Comedy Store and Fat Tuesday, where he said that Steve and Cedric and Kevin Hart and Tiffany Haddish came through there and made all lies. Steve and Cedric never performed at the Comedy Store at all. Tiffany was only seen at the Laugh Factory. In 15 years in Hollywood, no one in Hollywood has a memory of going to a sold-out Kevin Hart show, there being a line for him ever getting a standing ovation at any comedy club. He already had his deals.
Now, there is footage of Kevin at 19. I think a lot of people, the video got like 10 million views. There's an old video of Kevin, at 19 years old. I don't know where he was performing. But it was some little regular club, and he did very good. He had the people going crazy in there. So, and I have a hard time believing that. I have a hard time believing that Kevin didn't have a run before he made it big in comedy clubs and being a likable comic. I have a hard time believing that. But Katt was there, I wasn't, so I don't know.
Got here. Have we heard of a comedian that came to LA and in his first year in LA he had his own sitcom on network television and had his own movie called Soul Plane that he was leading? No, we've never heard of that before that person or since that person. What do you think a plant is? Maybe people don't understand the definitions of these words. He just did his documentary with Chris Rock where he shows you that his whole upbringing in comedy was on the East Coast.
Yeah, it was.
So how simultaneously was he here in Los Angeles doing the same thing? It didn't happen. It didn't happen. And I hate to seem like a petty individual for picking apart lies, but Jussie Smollett gonna keep lying until you say we don't believe you. Like, it's important in the checks and balances of the universe that liars not get to make complete narratives for themselves.
Are you not afraid about being blackballed again? These are some power people.
What do you mean again? These people are not powerful. Satan can't create anything. That includes blessings for his people. That's why, you know what the number one job of somebody that sold their soul in Hollywood is?
What?
Is to act like it didn't happen. They all do the same job. Why do you think Gary Owen can't cross over and he already white and been in comedy for 25 years? If what I say ain't the case. It's a cabal. It's a consortium. They rock with who they rock with and they don't with who they don't. But I'm not scared of being the competition any more than you were when you lined up across from a superior team. Yeah, on paper, they're a better team.
Right.
They have all the assets and resources and we don't. But let us get on the line, boy, and see if that factors in. I guarantee you it won't.
Wow.
Because Shannon Sharp got to be a different person than that other person.
Absolutely.
And he always was. That doesn't change when I change teams. That remains the same. That's how a legacy is built. So all of these shortcut takers.
I love this part.
They canceled me for talking about Harvey Weinstein before the thing came out, but he offered to suck my penis in front of all my people. What am I supposed to do? He did all of that. I'm thinking I'm the only black person on the script. I get there, there's 3 other black guys on there. Woo! Huh.
So you wonder what they did to get that?
I told him no. What y'all do? And this is why when I walk in a room, heads go down. Behind my back, I'm nothing. I'm just a regular old comedian that's bitter and jealous. But in my face, no. The king has walked in and they have to respect it only because I've not taken the shortcuts. I've not been funded. They pay you to not talk about things they don't want you to talk about. They tell you that themselves. I can't do that because Steve told you that he stopped doing stand-up because he had 7 TV shows. The only problem is when he stopped stand-up, he didn't have those 7 TV shows. He stopped stand-up because he got in a comedy battle called the Championship of Stand-Up Comedy with one Katt Williams in Detroit in front of 10,000 people and lost because Katt Williams said he was actually bald and that was a wig. And I went in and that's why he couldn't do stand-up anymore. Imagine him coming to tell you another story.
Now, I've never heard about this. And you would think something like that, oh my goodness, would have been all over the internet. I did not hear anything about that. But if y'all could find it gotta be footage. It has to be. If there's footage of this or any proof of this, y'all send it to me. I want to see it. You know, but I did find that weird. Because, see, comedy is something that you really don't have to retire. So I always thought that was weird. That like, I don't think I've ever heard of a comedian retiring. And y'all could correct me if I'm wrong. Now, they might retire from the business as a whole. You know what I mean? Or they say, all right, I'm taking a break from stand-up to do movies or this, that, and the third. But I've never heard a stand-up comic say, I'm retiring. I always thought that was kind of interesting with Steve Harvey. You know what I mean? But I have no proof about this story. I don't know. This one I don't know.
He got so big, and it was Bernie and them's fault because they wanted to be movie stars. What? You called Ocean 11 to get that nigga's part. What do you mean you didn't want to be a movie star? So on the behalf of Bernie, I would have to say what I have to say.
Have you ever been on tour with any of these guys?
Every guy I mentioned to you is not funny out there in real life.
I don't think
so. No. Faison's never done his own tour in 30 years. Steve Harvey don't do stand-up no more. Cedric doesn't write. I'm sorry, he doesn't write. Ricky Smiley has been playing the same old black woman forever. Like, you can't get a young fan base with that. Like, you got to be doing karaoke around the country to make that work.
Right.
And he is.
I was about to say, if you've seen, I think Ricky only has one stand-up comedy. Stand-up show. My aunt said she went to go see him in Detroit. At some point in the show, she said it was so bad that Ricky he told people to lift their phones up, and he started, joning on people's phones, and then he started singing. Like, he literally started singing, like, mid-performance, like, because the jokes wasn't hitting no more. And then kind of made jokes off of the back of them kind of singing. But that, again, I said we're not gonna watch this whole thing, but you could literally watch this whole thing, bro.
But I'm a stand-up comedian. This is my 19th 100 city tour. I'm not gonna have a conversation with these lazy bums that'll take a shortcut at any point. Yes, it's easier for you to juice than to get in the gym, but you don't get to bring that body in here talking crazy.
Talk about how good you look.
What? No, there's too many comics out there that are putting their life on the line to tell these jokes, man.
Okay, let's get to your upbringing. We're gonna start.
I mean, again, we could keep going. We really could. I actually kind of want to. Like, it's just magical, man. I mean, the Dave story. I guess it's only 3 minutes. I guess we could do that. I mean, look at this. This is everywhere, bro. This is everywhere. I mean, everybody got it. Like, it's crazy, bro. Like, and this interview is how many days old? 6 days old, bro. And people are still like, I'm just throwing my hat in like 6 days later. Like, it's crazy, bro. The Dave Chappelle story, I love this story. I want to hear this real quick. Because I always was interested in the Dave Chappelle story. Because that never made sense to me. Like, the success of the Dave Chappelle show, the way the story was always presented, hey, Comedy Central, whoever offered him $50 million, he turned it down. But it always seemed as if, I don't know, it was just always an undertone that wasn't all the way true, or something was. It's always been a weird story. So to hear Katt tell the story, and again, I don't know if everything he said is 100% correct, but it adds up with my speculation all these years. Like, I think he was owed $50 million, on top of a new deal. And I think that's I agree with this, but I want to hear Katt talk about it real quick.
One comedian, as we've been sitting here doing this interview, that you hold in very high regard is Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle walked away from $50 million. You said it was more. Tell the story.
That's right.
I'm gonna let you tell it.
No, you're
no, I want you to tell it.
You really are the best. You're proving it here today. As much as I'm proving it, you proving it. You proving it. Yeah, that wasn't the thing. It wasn't. People say that he lost $50 million. No, that's not even close to what happened to this dude. And until you understand what happened to the dude, you don't understand what happened. Like, no, not they offered him $50 million and he turned it down. Who gonna turn down $50 million? Now, I've had to turn down $50 million 4 times. 4 times. Just to protect my integrity and that virgin hole I was telling you about. Right. Because P. Diddy be wanting the body. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no.
Yeah.
I did. See, I got the receipts for everything I'm telling you. That's why I just say I'm so freely.
Can I need to know? You here, get to know.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Come on.
Because early on you was accusing me of being...
Katt, man.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, but you know, some of these people...
Martin tried to put me in my first dress. When he had to go on his hiatus, he tell me, Katt, when I come back, I need you. You my young partner. You my brother in comedy. When I come back, just promise me that my next movie, it'll be me and you. We gonna do it together. We gonna do some buddy cop shit. I said, Martin, you got my motherfucking word, my nigga. Go do what you gotta do. When you come back, I'm in your movie. Don't trip. I don't need to see the script or nothing. You know, we get in that office and this fool pull out Big Mama's House 2. I almost died. And I gotta read this script in front of all these good white people. Where this nigga want me to get in a dress with him. And I'm literally saying to everybody, why is he in a dress again? You already played the old lady as an FBI agent. We can play anything now. We can be playing a dog catcher this time. Why do we need to be in a dress? And I get so mad, I say, you don't want me. You want Brandon T. Jackson. And that's who they went and got. Twice I said it, they went and got him. Just like I'm telling.
And so this story, he's definitely talking about Big Mama's House 3. Like father, like son. I think Katt might have got his timelines mixed up, but he said Big Mama's House 2, but the third one is with Brandon T. Jackson. So, but, whoo, and we'll talk about this after.
I had that other dude's work. I had all of it. All I did was say I want to punch it up so it's not offensive to real niggas, and that's how I got in this position.
I sure hope I have a Club Shay after this year.
It's gonna be in a dimension it's never been.
Yeah, it's gonna be
the greatest thing floating in 2024. Mark the words. No way. in a whole different realm of business. Oprah coming next.
Hey,
once I establish this as a place of truth.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Watch. God's people ain't that few.
Katt called it. Boy, he wasn't lying. He called it. Yeah, this is on a whole, like I was just watching ESPN and Shannon threw that out there in the middle of one of the segments. They was talking about the Cowboys or something. He said, yeah, my interview with Katt Williams, $37 million, Stephen A. Guess what? He got every right to say that. Shout out to Shannon Sharp, man. He doing it. So to that last part, I watched the Joe Budden podcast and they were talking about, male comics, black male comics being in a dress and all of this stuff. And listen, and I saw what Melissa Ford had to say. This the thing, right? Everybody keeps saying, well, white comedians did it and other black comedians did it. That's not the point at all. The point Katt was making is, to the ones who say no to the dress, this is what happens. We're not talking about the ones who put on the dress. You could do whatever you want. People every day sacrifice their morality for a check. We're not talking about them. We're talking about the ones who say no. We're talking about the ones who don't conform, who don't do that. That's the conversation. And so, to that, I can't disagree with Katt again. I can't disagree with Katt again. Now, I haven't heard it pertaining to black comics putting on the dress, but I have heard stories in Hollywood where a person of certain talent gets their foot in the door, they doing their thing, they develop relationships, and they get asked a favor. They say, hey, do this script, do this film, do this, do that. The second you say no, a door gets closed. I have heard that, and I've heard it from Patrice O'Neal. I think Patrice O'Neal said Spike Lee did it to him. Spike Lee gave him his biggest check, and then Spike Lee asked him, I think he said it on Opie and Anthony. He told this story. He said he did one of Spike Lee movies. Spike was real cool with him because he liked the Celtics and, you know, the Celtics, Knicks and all of that. And then Spike asked him to do a film. Patrice said no. It said, I never work with Spike Lee again. So we know that is true. That comics or anybody in Hollywood, the word no in certain rooms could be a death certificate. We do know that is true. We know that's true. But again, man, I can't really disagree with nothing. Oh man, the Katt. Well, they ain't even really talk about Kanye and Kim for real. They really just talked about Kanye, and Katt said he can't judge Kanye because Kanye was never that high on the totem pole to be judged, which I could agree with. I do believe that, like Katt Williams, Kanye has always been a voice of he's an uncontrollable voice that you want on your team. And I feel like at one point when Kanye was speaking on behalf of a certain community, he was held in high regard. And I feel for good reason, because we all know there's not a lot of people that's willing to tell the truth. And so when you had somebody like Kanye, who I believe at one point, I look, don't get me on a Kanye rant, but I agree with what Katt said about him on that. You know, they talked about who else they talk about, man? They talked about everybody. I mean, this was just madness, bro. Like, this is really one of the greatest interviews to ever be done. And again, you can criticize Shannon Sharpe all you want, but you can't deny 37 million views in 6 days. And this is an independent platform. I don't believe it's owned by anybody. I don't think he signed a deal with Spotify or Apple or anything. This is still an independently owned podcast that Shannon Sharpe is funding out of his own pocket. And he's seeing the success that only people could only imagine. I think he did a phenomenal job. Again, this is one of the greatest interviews I've ever seen. Katt Williams is in rare form. If he is still on his tour, I would not be surprised if the ticket sales for Katt went after this interview. And vice versa. I would not be surprised if the business for Shannon Sharpe after this, because I mean, you can't deny 37 million views in 6 days. You can't deny this level of publicity and recognition. I mean, this interview is everywhere. It's almost a week old, and in today's time, you got a controversial moment. I might get a couple days. 6 days is a long time nowadays in viral clip media world, and it's still going. That's the craziest part. It's still going. So And again, it's a lot of things that Katt said that I can't disagree with. And you gotta appreciate him. You gotta appreciate him, man. Whether you agree with his stances or not, I believe Katt Williams speaks from a place of integrity and truth, and his truth. Even if his truth may not be, may not have the full story, he speaks his truth, which a lot of people are not willing to do, and I appreciate that. I mean, again, this was an interview, and it felt like a stand-up, and he wasn't telling jokes. He's just naturally one of the most funny, charismatic human beings. Forget comics, human beings to ever exist. Like, he is that type of person. And him and Shannon Sharp made magic with this, man. This is it. Like, this is like one of the biggest things to ever happen. Matter of fact, real quick, let me see something. I just wanna verify that Katt Williams never been in a bad movie, or a movie that flopped. Katt Williams movies. Let me see something. The House Next Door. I never seen this. It got Mike Epps and everybody in it. Oh, Meet the Blacks 2. Katt Williams is in this. Let's see what it did. It earned $1 million. It earned a total of $2.8 million. Okay, so we gotta see what. This would be considered a flop if these numbers are true. I don't know if these numbers are true, but if we're going off of what Wikipedia and Google say, the budget was 3.5 and it only made 2.9. That is the definition of a flop. That is a definition. Damn, it got everybody in it. Why I ain't see this? You got Lil Duval, Rick Ross. Oh my gosh. Snoop. Yo, why wasn't this promoted? I knew nothing about this movie. Oh, wow. 2 Minutes of Fame. I ain't heard of this. And I see, this is the Jay Farrow. I see him on this. This came out in 2020. They don't have the budget and all of that. But, and again, I ain't trying to get too literal. But Katt said he ain't been a part of nothing that flop. That's the definition of a flop. So, but again, I only bring that up just to play devil's advocate. I know Katt Williams is funny in his role. I've never seen a bad Katt Williams role. Every movie that I love that involves Katt Williams, he steals the show. That includes Friday After Next. That includes First Sunday. He literally steals these movies. He's literally in the movie. If you had a pie chart of 100%, in those two movies, like Katt is in 15% of them, in both. And he steals the show. Every single time Katt Williams is on the screen, he stole the show in all of those movies. So I know it has nothing to do with Katt. Like, I know it. You know what I mean? So, but, boy, I'm just, 2024 is off to a crazy start. We're not even 10 days in, and, you know, they did this. So, y'all let me know how y'all felt about this interview. Let me know your thoughts on what Katt said. Let me know, do you agree? Do you disagree? How did you feel about the interview in and of itself? Do you think Shannon Sharp did a good job? Do you think he didn't do enough? But yeah, man, the interview of all interviews, man. Interview of all interviews. Y'all let me know how y'all felt about it. As always, like, comment, and subscribe. I appreciate y'all for watching. Until next time, peace.